My demons, welcome to yet another edition of Reapers Underground on a Thursday night. What the hell are we doing? The snow is out there. I don't know about you, but I got fucking trapped here in Nebraska up to 9 inches. It sucked. I couldn't go out and do shit, so I cleaned the house. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, but I thank y'all for joining us tonight for this awesome, fantastic interview. We have the great Angel Bradford with us, famous for so many great indie horror films. So glad to have you, Kyler. What's up, man? How you doing? See, didn't even get flashed by Danzig today. Already a good night. No, you're not late. You're not late at all. Yeah, we're so pleased to have you here. Oh no, he got it anyway. Lazy Danzig nipple. That's what he got. We tend to do this to Kyler every show. So I guess he just had to get flashed. So, but awesome. Yep. And we're going to kind of delve into your career a bit because everybody is talking about you. The buzz is awesome, which is just amazing. I think indie filmmaking as a whole, especially the horror genre, is really starting to get noticed a bit more these days. Because of some other successes and stuff. And we'll get to that. So we're pleased to have you. Real quick, though, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our sponsor over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check it out. Hell yeah, that's right, everybody. Villain Arts puts on one of the best tattoo conventions I've ever been to and very much honored to be a part of, as me and Mischief will be there yet again, only this time in Chicago next month. Come on down, hang out with us, take a picture, maybe buy a picture. We'll sign it for you. Have some fun with us. That's what we're talking about. It's more than just a tattoo convention. Yep, I saw that while we were in the commercial break. And Kyler, I am so sorry that gang has actually sent that to your DM. Now it is unescapable. So we are back with the wonderful Angel Bradford. And just to kind of take a look at some of what she is known for.
Yeah,
that kind of says it all right there. I think that photo is iconic. Hopefully you got it somewhere, framed on your wall.
Not yet.
Sure, not yet. Okay.
I don't have enough room in my house right now. Like my house is like very homely, very small. And I'm like, I keep a lot of props and stuff from movie sets and I just have no room for anything.
Oh, I understand that. I would just be amazed at the collection you have by this point. There's so much stuff. So you've kind of, I don't know, you've kind of done it all, really. with so many things in either pre-production, post-production. You're very known for this particular one here, Desperate
Yeah.
Souls.
I
Slaughter on the Set.
definitely want to talk about Desperate Souls for sure, because that Moira was definitely the most intense role that I have played.
Oh yes, we're
the
definitely going to get
the
to that.
amount of yeah.
For sure. Actually, why don't we go ahead and, well, let's start at the beginning. How did you get into all this? Was acting always something you wanted to do, or did the special effects work come first and just kind of led you there?
So the special effects kind of came first. I mean, when I was younger, I had dreams of, being an actress, but something that always drew me to horror movies, was the creative aspect, the creatures that were made. Creepshow is one of my favorites, Fluffy. I freaking
Oh,
love Fluffy. But movies like that really just inspired, my creative side. So I've been a self-taught makeup artist ever since like middle school. And
wow.
I was gonna go to school for veterinary medicine, but life happens and things end up changing. Go a different path, and COVID really actually kind of jump started my career in the indie industry because I had the time to practice my special effects and share them on Facebook. And a director named Brad Thomason had ended up reaching out to me and asking if I wanted to do makeup on a movie called Backwoods Bubba. And that was the first movie I ever did
Yeah.
makeup on. I was so nervous. And,
I can only imagine when you're in the hot seat.
yeah, and everybody, is there watching you. And it was very nerve-wracking, but every experience is a learning experience,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
when I look back to the first time I did makeup to the makeup that I'm doing on sets now, it's the difference is impeccable, and just the amount of people that I've been able to work with in this industry, Jamie Apple, Ariel Stafford, like just people that know what they're doing. Beth Metcalf, she's amazing. I've just met,
Absolutely.
incredible people and learned so much from them. But yeah, the the special effects kind of transitioned into acting, and I caught the acting bug for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to make all these horrific creations that we love so much. Good blood splatter here, a limb falling off, or some kind of like monster outfit, demonic kind of stuff.
Mm.
That's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of fun to actually play the character at the same time. Have you
Yeah.
actually played like any roles that you created the effects for?
Um, I did well in Night of the Axe. I actually decapitated myself. I
Oh,
helped with the
shit.
special effects on that. Yeah, and it's a little freaky, you know, seeing your head floating around in a hot tub.
Absolutely. That gets a little hairy, so to speak.
Right.
I was actually going to ask about that film, like what the premise was, or
Oh,
the
yeah.
overall plot.
So
Is it
basically,
like a
you have
mystical
an
hex?
escaped. Yeah, you have an escaped mental patient who basically just goes after these teenage, kids that are partying and just having a good time. And it was a little nerve wracking too for that because I actually stripped down to the nude fully for that role.
In true
And
80s fashion.
oh yeah, you can't have the 80s without nudity. You know what I'm saying? To have you got to have something in there. So I
Oh,
definitely,
nobody would pay for my big ass,
had
trust
balls for that.
me. I severely
But
doubt it.
No, it was fun. I thought it was special on that set, and
Well, that's
even
good.
though I did, strip down, it was cool. I bared my all, and here I am.
Well, that's good because so often you hear horror stories, of on set and people not being mature enough to handle it.
Right.
So that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you end up decapitating yourself though?
Well, it took some time. I had some help from a couple makeup artists here in North Carolina, Jeff and Brandon, who made a cast of my head, and I ended up
Mhm.
painting it and putting a wig on it that looked like me. And the director and I had some fun trying to rig up the the squib to get it to where it would like decapitate and like blood spill all at the same time. It was
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
But again, it was a learning experience.
But nonetheless, it came off and it came off great. So
It
I definitely
did.
will have to check that one out because I'm still kind of a child of the '80s, so that era of horror will always forever be big. Even though I was a little bit more drawn to '70s horror as well as the
Yeah.
great Hammer productions in the '60s and the late '50s. Those were really kind of my favorites. And then the
Yeah.
'90s kind of changed things a little bit, but it definitely sounds like some of these films kind of is an homage to that era, especially with this one here that I was going to ask you about. Bloody Hooker Massacre. I mean, that's got
We have
80s written
not
over it.
filmed that one yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it kind of have that
That one will
feel,
be.
just kind of, based on the title alone?
It does. Yeah. And Dwayne actually, he was the first director to actually give me my like acting start. He had
Ah,
asked me to read
well,
as
that's
an
good.
understudy for another actress, and I sent in my self tape, and he made me the lead role of that film, which is called Slumber Party Slaughter Party 2, and should be out sometime this summer.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I can kind of already get the premise of that one a little bit. Is it kind of a slasher film?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought so. Awesome. Got a question for you from my wonderful demons out there in the comment section. He asks this question all the time. What is your favorite scary movie?
Gosh, that's such a hard question because I mean, there's
Mhm.
so many that I love. Honestly, I always go back to Amityville 2, The Possession.
Ah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Something about, I mean, just the way that the camera, follows, for like the point of view and like just the underlying tones of just evil and the special effects too. Like there's that one scene where, his stomach is like being pressed in and then when he's like falling apart. Gosh, yeah, that sticks out to me.
Pretty hardcore, and definitely from the best era of that franchise, in my opinion. Because I think you're talking about the second one that followed the first one in the '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, yep.
or late '70s, one of the two. It's in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Trying to remember the
Yeah.
damn the lead actor's name. I think it was James Brolin or something like that. Yeah, those ones really got me, all the way down to just the red peering light shining through the brick in the basement and all that stuff. And it's a little bit
Yes.
more real,
I
and
also have to.
especially though it's based on a real house. So
Yeah. I see TikToks all the time, like people just like going by the house and, taking videos and stuff of it. But I also have to give an honorable mention to Dead Alive. That's probably got to be my second favorite.
ah, okay.
Yeah. I'm a
I think
huge
I've
Peter
seen
Jackson
that.
fan, so
Who is it? Sorry.
Peter Jackson, who did Brain Dead, Dead
Gotcha.
Alive. Yeah.
Awesome. And then, of course, we get a question from Nicholas Hickox, favorite music artist.
Gosh,
I
these
know it's like the
they
two
so hard
eras
questions.
areas of artistry that are the hardest to ever put into words.
I listen to a lot of rock music. I'm a really big fan of Boston Manor, Architects, Killswitch Engage,
Kill
Mastodon.
switch.
Um, yeah, I'm a huge concert goer, and my
Nice.
boyfriend and I went to a festival last year, and we got to see Killswitch Engage, and we got the set list from them. I physically
Oh,
cried.
that's cool.
I did.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
Genghis,
an awesome moment.
absolutely. Genghis wants to know if she likes Evanescence.
I do. I do like
Now
Evanescence.
or from the beginning?
I prefer earlier Evanescence.
Okay. Yep, you're right in line with Genghis on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I'm known for death metal. I'm a drummer as well as what everything else that I do now. But always been a drummer, so for me, it's always been death metal, doom metal, just about any type of metal. Period. So, but I could still get down with that as well. So, I
You
always have
know,
to say that first record was probably their best record.
there are
So many hits.
album covers. There are album covers that haunted me as a kid, but they didn't haunt me enough for stop looking at them. But the Cannibal Corpse album covers were always just
You
like
should have been able
crazy
to
and bloody and
derive
gory.
the inspiration.
It was,
I
but
mean, which is very funny considering most of those guys are fucking vegans. They don't even eat meat, and here they are twisting flesh up and all this stuff. So it's kind of funny.
I did
But
not know that.
yeah, most people don't know it. I don't think that Corpse Grinder is, because I mean that guy's a raging Hulk. But everybody else is kind of like real fit and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, but you're talking about zombies tearing faces off and guts coming out, and you think
Yeah,
they're savages or something,
you're right.
But for an effects artist, I would think some of those album covers would inspire some creations.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they did. Some of them stuck with me. Another really cool special effects that I loved was like Pumpkinhead. I love
Mm.
Pumpkinhead.
Always going to be a huge favorite for me. I'm
Yeah.
a big Lance Henriksen fan.
Mhm.
My favorite movie of his is The Horror Show. I always thought that was the best one. But he was so good in that, especially with the whole Vengeance in the Eyes thing. I'm like, he sold
Oh
that
yeah,
shit so good. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But the creature effects, for it to
yeah.
be practical and shit,
Fantastic.
that was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
The 80s
Agreed.
was not known for all this, electronic stuff and digital work. It was mostly practical. So do you prefer practical over that digitized stuff?
Most definitely. I think tons of brain power goes into special effects makeup. Artists have to improvise all the time. Things can go wrong on set. People have allergies, so you
Oh
definitely have to be
God.
very quick on your feet, as a makeup artist.
Most makeup that goes on my head doesn't break me out.
Yeah.
If I wear it for too long, it does start to itch, but even with latex and different compounds and stuff, because I'm known for, wearing a different set of horns every now and again. I played the devil in a music video a couple years back. So, it just never really bothered me until I have to rip it off, and then my skull cap feels like it's coming off.
Yeah. Some people actually really
know.
like that feeling of like the latex coming off. I might
When
be
it's
one of those
when it's
people.
going slow, yes. Until you find that one person that asks you, "Hey, can I take that off for you?" And they just go, "Eek."
Yank.
Oh, it's like a fucking Band-Aid coming off your skin that was like on there with duct tape or some shit. So
It's true.
my goodness. But yeah, I mean, your love of, attention to detail and the work that you put into these creations. I mean, you got an award from Tom Savini. What the fuck was that like?
Yeah, that was very surreal. That's definitely my moment of like I kind of made it, you know. That was the first prosthetic that I ever made, and the model, my good friend Clarence Adams, he, pulled off the character, attitude and everything very well, and it was just great. It was surreal, and I'll never forget that moment ever.
My goodness, I'm sure you got like a full blown poster like of the picture. Just blow it up. You gotta be proud of that shit. So,
Yeah,
can you kind of describe for everybody out there that might not have seen this prosthetic that you made, just so they get an idea
yeah.
of what you did there?
So basically, Clarence kind of came up with the idea. We collaborated on a sort of military personnel who had gotten infected with an alien virus. So he still looked
Right.
humanoid, but the prosthetic that I made had three eyeball shapes in it. And what I did was I took a Mountain Dew
Whoa.
bottle and cut out three shapes that kind of look like eyeballs. And then we used like a window tint to go over it. So he was still able to see out of the eyes, but they had that reflective, surface.
Yeah,
And painted in blue. I used bubble wrap, big bubble wrap,
that's
injected
awesome.
fluid. So whenever you squeeze them, the stuff could come out. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really realistic. Wow, you heard it here,
Yeah.
folks. Sometimes you just find stuff lying around the house that you never thought could be used as special effects. And, sometimes, especially during, the Halloween season, people come up with like all these different like outfits and shit. And actually get pretty creative based on, like you said, just stuff lying around the house there.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, Tom Savini's going, "You won."
Yeah.
Now, tell me true. Is he a
Yeah.
pretty laid back guy?
Yeah, yeah. Any interactions that I had with him, were great. There he was, complaining about flights and stuff, but I understand. Like, the
Oh
airports
my
suck.
goodness.
Airports suck. So, I don't blame him at all for being upset with flights and whatnot.
Sure. Not to mention one day you have a really good price and like 2 hours later you have a horrible price.
Right.
So it's like, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Um,
It was really cool though. He really took a lot of interest in watching, all the artists while they were doing the contest. He came up and was, you observing and seeing how people were applying their prosthetics, etc. And it was just really it was cool. He wasn't just like there. He was taking an active interest, in what was going on. It was really appreciated.
I could only imagine because it's kind
Yeah.
of like, he's got all the fucking wisdom.
Yeah. Right.
30 plus years experience, and he gets to be in a chance where he can see what other people are doing. And I'm sure it just helped, made things pop even more. I bet you made you fucking nervous, though.
It did.
You had to be sweating at some
oh
point.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I was definitely sweating, man.
It's like you're in the presence of the Dark Lord of special effects. I mean, that's how I would feel if, like, the drummer of Behemoth or any of my drummer heroes from the last 20 years, 30 years, be like, oh shit, I better not fuck up.
Right? Yeah. Awesome. All eyes on you.
Yeah. Even more so at the moment, because we're going to take just a quick short break as myself and my new band, Iron Serpent, dropped our first single a week ago. And holy shit, thank you all for supporting it. And if you haven't caught the new lyric video, check out a quick clip of it on Kingside Records YouTube right now.
Within the temple walls, the serpent of heresy, to avenge this dying world of hate and misery. You spoke to me in the garden of purity.
All right. So, yeah, if you haven't checked it out and you are a Black and Doomed lover, sludge metal lover, or even stoner metal, this one is right up your alley. So, Kingside Records YouTube channel right now. We appreciate that support. All right. I'm sure that was probably a little heavier than what you're used to listening to.
No, that was fine. I'm over here jamming to it.
Yeah, people always expect it to be super fast, and it's like, this is Doom. Doom's a little slower. I mean, it has some, up tempos here and there, but nah, it's meant to just take you to another world. And the subject of that song, I always thought would make an excellent horror film, and that's on the deity of Zoroastrianism, which is a kind of a dead belief practice that was practiced in Iran before Christianity was ever thought of. And the deity's name is Ahriman. He was the god of vengeance. And if they needed a cleansing to cleanse the earth of bad and the wicked, they would call upon this demon to wipe everybody out. So always thought that would make a good subject for a horror film.
Yeah.
I get into dark shit like that, so obviously. Right on. All right, so let's get into Desperate Souls. This has been quite a big film for you, as I understand.
Yes. We just wrapped up filming. We did 98 pages in 7 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It definitely, the whole team, like, we couldn't have done it without each other. I'm so proud of everybody, a lot of tears and sweat and fake blood, went into making this. And I mean, it's incredible. My character, just goes through a roller coaster of emotion in like almost every scene. And as an actress, it's interesting having to switch back and forth, so quickly between attitudes or moods. And that's definitely this whole movie. I might just use this whole movie as my reel because there's every emotion in it.
Yeah. So often, people wonder how the hell do you turn it on, turn it off at the drop of a hat?
Yeah,
It's kind of like, I don't know.
I
Is
feel like a
it kind of
chameleon sometimes.
for sure? What is
Yeah,
the
it's like
premise of your character?
so Moira is a succubus, and she comes across a victim who she ends up falling in love with. So
That reminds me of a
basically,
song I
yeah.
wrote 2 years
Oh, really?
ago. Yep. Now, are you talking about a succubus in the demonic sense or in just like the human sense?
Both.
Both.
Um,
Okay, even better.
yeah, and actually, the effects in this film all are practical. Jamie Apple from Poison Apple Effects created the horns, my wings, my teeth.
Oh, damn,
Um,
y'all went all in. Holy shit.
yeah, and it's definitely the most effects that I've worn, and I feel like a bad bitch. Like
I
I
guess.
cannot wait to show the world like Moira in demon form, because I was like, that's me. Like that's what?
Right, because that's not exactly characteristic of you.
No. And like Moira, she has so many, moments where she's like angry. She just hates and wants to kill, and like, that's not me. I'm a very happy person. So seeing myself, in that role it's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. There was one film that I had seen a couple years back on Shudder. Surprisingly, it was called Porno, but it ends up being a film that they think is going to be one, but it ends up being like somebody shot the ritual for summoning a succubus. And in
Okay.
turn, by watching the film, she comes out of the film and then just goes around and starts killing everybody.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
actually not bad.
there's some pretty gnarly kills in this movie.
Oh, I can only
It's
imagine.
yeah, God, I want to say so much, but I can't. Everybody's just gonna have to wait.
That's right. How about some of the films that I'd like to get our viewers who may not know your work, some of the stuff you're most proud of that's already out. If we can
Honestly,
touch
there's not a lot that's out right now. Unfortunately, there's so
Oh
much
my
that's still
goodness.
in post production. Um, Wolf
I mean,
Hollow
that's
has
indie
its
film in general.
yeah. Wolf Hollow has its premiere on April 1st. I'll
Oh,
be in
nice.
LA. I'll be in LA with Mischief. What's up? Filming. Um,
Right for the Dead Place.
that comes out. Yes. Yep. Very excited for that. Um, Martian Massacre is a film by Brad Thomason. It's on Tubi. Mothman, I had a small part in, is available on Prime. Night of the Axe is out for pre-order, Blu-ray, DVD. Um, yeah, mostly everything is going to be kind of in post-production throughout this year.
Okay. Yeah, I think what a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that, people are looking for the ones that have made the film are looking for distribution and stuff like that. Places where they can put it on, whether it be, you know, uh, Amazon
Tubi
or
or
any kind of
Prime.
streaming service. It's a
Yeah.
wonder. Do you think they ever hit up apps like Screenbox or Shutter to see if they would carry it? Because they usually carry like the more campy stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, I,
okay.
I'm
Yeah, because
not
that was one thing I always
exactly
wondered.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, how the distribution process works. But I feel like, Tubi and Amazon, are fairly safe when accepting a lot of projects.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're always trying to keep it fresh and appeal to everyone, instead of paying for those sites, Shutter, Screenbox, what have you, that
Yeah.
have stuff, and it's not bad. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't have Tubi, so there's a lot of hidden
Yeah,
gems in there. I found some myself.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's
So
some pretty good stuff on there.
I think people always shy away from it when they see certain titles and stuff. It's like, doesn't it just make you kind of curious?
Right? Yeah, don't you want to
I
like
know it
see what
makes me
else is
curious.
on?
Right. It's like the other apps are still playing the same tired shit you've seen
Yeah.
1,000,000,000 times. Try something new. That's how I found Bubba the redneck werewolf,
Oh, cool. That
and
sounds so neat.
Wolf Cop. As I understand it, they're even going to reboot Wolf Cop. That's how fucking awesome that was.
Wow, that's cool.
And these are all indie films, people. Check them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. A
So
lot
would you,
of
would you
heart and soul goes into making indie films. It's a complete,
they just
total
don't know.
team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely looking for roles that are obviously villain, monster, slasher, serial killer. I can even do it, in makeup, out of makeup. Either way, I'm scary. At least I think so. And I have a really dark sense of humor, so I think I could pull it off. So I'm
I can
always
see that.
always trolling, looking. One of these days, we'll give it a shot. But super cool. So I don't know. Out of those 28 that you got in the barrel there, which ones are you most excited about coming out besides Desperate Souls?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. Um, Slaughter on the
That's a
Set.
lot.
Yeah. Slaughter on the Set was
Yeah, I was actually
definitely,
very intrigued by that one.
yeah. Filming was in Maine,
Ooh,
and I
that's over
play
by
the
Kansas.
lead character of Olivia.
Right on.
um, yeah, and I had an amazing time on that set, except for how cold it was. So I normally just get cold anyway. Like I'm just always cold. But I
I
was
feel
a
that.
freaking popsicle constantly in Maine. But we were filming at this really cool mill, and the caretakers there were telling us about all these like people that had passed away in the mill, and there was a really big creek on the outside of the mill where like 100 people had died in like the past 50 years, and it was cool. And honestly, I felt like you know, I felt like I wasn't alone in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though there were tons of people in there, but it was just a different kind of energy that you could feel, being in the
Oh yeah.
building.
I was gonna say, specters were probably literally everywhere.
Yeah.
You ever had anything like sort of, supernatural kind of happen on set?
um, uh, Actually, yeah, kind of. For filming Demon Hunter, Time to Kill, which was another awesome filming experience. That movie is actually premiering in Ireland in October of this
Holy
year.
shit. Are you
Yeah,
gonna go?
I'm gonna hopefully try to go. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
um,
I mean, hell of a place to debut it, but shit. If you can get there, get there.
we were.
My goodness.
I feel so bad because I can't remember the name of the place that we were filming. It was it used to be a tuberculosis hospital, in Kentucky.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, but I definitely saw some shadows there, and a couple of the cast members had seen like there were toy balls kind of around the place. Yeah, and up where the radio tower was.
That's not spooky.
Right? Up where the radio tower was, they saw like the balls moving like in a circle. I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay away from that area.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
it definitely seems like COVID, I've been saying it and everybody looks at me like I'm fucking weird or whatever. That year, 2020, for artists of every kind, whether it be music or just overall, painters, people that do sculpturing, stuff like that. And obviously, for film actors and stuff, and special effects people like yourself, that was a time to really get your game on.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you didn't have that ability to go and meet people and show people your stuff. You had to do it online, and you had to like grab people's attention. That was like, for I'd say just about everybody in the underground, as far as art's concerned, kind of, stepping out of a comfort zone. I don't know. Would you agree on that? Or did it come natural for you?
I feel like it's kind of like two sides of the same coin, because I feel like, artists were impacted very heavily, having to stop being able to go and do makeup in person. And, so there was, the downside to it, but the upside to it was technology, and the fact that artists were able to adapt and learn how to, share their art digitally and, get their name out that way.
Absolutely. And like you said, I mean, it got you noticed. You got to work on that first film. Has that one come out, or is that one still kind of out in the wings a little bit?
So the movie that I first did makeup for, Backwoods Bubba, is out on Tubi, and so is Martian Massacre, which I didn't do makeup for, but I did act in it. And those are both by the same director, Brad Thomason. And Slaughter Party 2 should be out this year. Debbie Does Demons will be out this year. I'm hoping that The House That Eats Flesh will be out this year.
I wanted to ask, I immediately thought of like, I don't know, Cinemax, like softcore films. What is the premise of Debbie Does Demons? I just got to know. I wanted to see if I was right.
So I play Debbie, and Debbie is a host of a show called Debbie Does Demons, and she basically talks about, demons and ghosts and stuff from the past,
so
or
like
somebody local. Yeah, yep. So basically, my scenes, come in into the movie as like a commercial, advertising Debbie Does Demons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Until you come face to face with them? Is that kind of how that?
Yeah. I end up having to go against a main witch who has been kind of reincarnated from the past.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Vengeful witches are always good horror. I don't know why. They just are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And Jessa Daisy plays the witch. And I mean, she's phenomenal. So I love her to death. So.
Right on. So those of you listening out there in Three Witches Land, check the movies out that she just talked about, whether she did the effects for or acted in. They're on Tubi. It's free, motherfuckers. Check it out, please. You'd be doing everybody a great service. Seriously. And like you said, the people it's like they think indie film is you have a cheap ass camera that you bought at Walmart, you find some location, and it's all just willy-nilly thrown together garbage, right? That's not the truth.
No.
I mean, shit, I've had Jason, can't remember his last name. Jason Brooks, who also does special effects stuff, as well as now he directs and did the
cool.
Friday the 13th fan films, and some other folks in the same thing. Man, this is where it's at. This is what the underground is all about. There is so much talent that I think people don't realize, and that's why I have people like yourselves come on to show everybody there's more out there than just what mainstream, whatever you want to call it, puts out there and says this is what you should be watching. You know, I don't care if a film has multi-million-dollar, available to them to do shit, which we all know that half the time all that money goes to waste because the film ends up being shit. It really does. And indie horror, I mean, we saw what just happened with Art the Clown in Terrifier 2. You know what I mean? So how has that changed you? It's like, every time you're being talked about, you're being written about, you're showing up in Dread Central. Actually, yeah, we can talk about that for a second here too. If I can find it. Here we go, Reaper. Ta-da! There you are in Dread Central. What the fuck was that like?
Again,
we're number 13 top creators.
Yeah,
right?
It's another surreal experience. I've been through a lot, and sometimes I don't feel like I deserve, like the good things that are happening in my life. But
I feel like that every day. I tell my wife I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth every day. For sure. I do. She'll tell you.
I take a couple steps back and I realize I'm like, everything happens for a reason,
Absolutely.
and I know what I want in life, and I always put myself out there, and I'm going to give my all. I'm going to give 200% whatever I'm on. And I'm just grateful. I never expected my life to be where it is now, and I'm just very thankful for all the support that I have, and I never expected it, and I love you guys, so thank you.
Yes, because it's the fans like you out there watching right now that make all this possible. It could be where we see one of your features go, into a theater at some point too. As a matter of fact, I think you just got picked up for another one as well. I thought I may have seen it on Facebook recently under an announcement somewhere.
Yeah, I have the God of War fan film that I'm a part of, and also Arcadia. Scream Dream is coming up, and I've been sending, auditions in left and right for other stuff too.
And for any would-be actor or actress out there maybe watching right now, what do you recommend for them to do besides, trolling Facebook, groups and IMDb, because, there's a lot of posts in there too. But do you have any kind of like advice for them?
Don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. If you come across, a casting call that fits your age, but maybe is kind of a different role or something, just go for it. You never know what you're capable of until you try. And also don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask questions. I've reached out to people asking for help on my resume, or, how to make my reel better, so I don't think any question is a stupid question. Everybody starts somewhere.
Absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, folks out there in Three Witches Land, priceless wisdom that you would not otherwise get just from looking around. But sometimes it starts there, doing your research, talking to people, and, finding some way in. Because, I mean, it just kind of, one day you may get a shit ton of no's, but there might be that one yes that leads you to something you never thought would be possible.
Yeah.
So real quick, we're going to take one last break before the final section of this interview and check out the bands and artists at Reapers Underground Productions. Check it out. Man, that's right. If you are an undiscovered band and you need some management to handle all of your promo stuff, booking, and just about anything else, get at me, man. I will check your shit out. If I think you got what it takes to get to the next level, I'll take you on. And that goes for just about any type of artist. And as a matter of fact, October Noir has a new single, and it is fucking insanely awesome. Let's roll that real quick for Forever Haunt, coming out March 31st. Absolutely gives me the chills. Any type of negative fan out there, this is the band for you. I knew you probably picked up on that flavor. This band, and I had them on, I think we had them on about 3 months ago, Genghis, if I'm correct, something like that. And this man is like the spitting, not necessarily image. I mean, he does have a little bit of the look, but it's not totally correct. You know, he doesn't exactly look like Peter Steele, but he sounds like him. His vocals are fucking amazing. The album is called Letters to Existence. And on this track, he's got a special guest vocalist on there where he does I forget what you call it, like a collab, you know, with another vocalist, female vocalist. I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. Anyhow, so check it out, March 31st. I have moments like that all the time, people. All righty. So I would ask, and this is what I always ask. So if you had to pick 5 horror films that influenced you the most, and I'm sure, obviously, one of them being the Amityville. What would those be?
Amityville 2, Hellraiser, Creep
Yes,
Show,
absolutely.
Dead Alive.
The cake, and the. My goodness. What was that? What last one?
Dead Alive, and the other one. Honestly, I would have to say the remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Okay, super fucking intense.
Yeah,
If not more intense than the 70s version. And I thought that shit was over the top.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the theater with my dad, and I screamed out loud in the theater. Yeah, that's definitely, it's up there because it holds that memory for me.
Gotcha. And is that where you discovered your scream? Oh no,
maybe that could have been the start. That could have been the start.
Not everybody knows if they have what it takes to be a scream queen. And I'll tell you, I've heard a lot of people, Tara Reid, try to scream in terror, and it just sounds horrible. But yours is quite good, obviously. So is there anything that you choose specifically to do that?
Is there what now? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Anything that you channel specifically to get that real scream of terror? Or does it just come naturally?
It just comes naturally.
You are one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, you know, in when I'm trying to bring intensity or really trying to, you know, think or portray my anger and focus it out, like there's no hope for you. You are dead. I am thinking of people that I have always wanted to knock them out. And that usually works. So that's my secret.
Hey.
And if I'm doing something like diabolical, it'll be like the Joker. There's no better madman, in my opinion, than the Joker and Hannibal Lecter, all rolled into one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I can definitely see that.
Awesome. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you to everybody out there in the comment section. Share the fucking shit out of this anywhere and everywhere. You can catch it on YouTube as well as on Reaper's Underground, 3 Witches Entertainment. It'll always be there, so you can go back and watch it as many times as you like. So what is your message you want to leave with everyone that maybe you have made new fans?
I don't know. Just thank you guys for, you know, the support. Stay strong, stay healthy. It's a crazy world out there. You know, take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And it's like I always said, a true artist is one that is always humble, no matter how much success they get. All righty. It has been a pleasure. And make sure you stick around afterwards. But most importantly, you know, as you're trying to stay warm and getting wrapped in your blanket, always stay heavy.
Rotting in this wasteland, left us some bleach to bone.